I got a bad reputation down there for not telling how many miles I have. They'll ask me, and I'll tell them 110. I got 115. It's just so I act like I don't know where I'm at, but I do know where I'm at. I just try to get some extra ones. And I don't know. It's fun. It's fun.
Running with Maverick and Wolfman. Hey guys. Continuation with Gary the Great.
First off, we got some headline news. Okay. I don't know if you can see this. Dylan, can you, or Wolfman, can you see this?
I don't have my glasses on, but I can read it.
So it's on about Pink Panther 5K.
Makes the final run.
Yeah. That's way to be, man, Wolfman. You had some tough guys. You had some tough guys behind you.
I did. It was a sloppy course too.
Yeah, doesn't sound like the weather was very good.
No, it was not. It was fun though.
I bet. Yeah, yeah. You had them Russell boys there. They're tough. They're tough. Yeah,
they are.
Adam. He's like one of the toughest on the East Coast in mountain running. Unbelievable.
I know it.
Unbelievable. He's tough. Him and Johnny Johnson, man. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he was in some magazine too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. They won a prize. I don't know if it was Rookie of the Year or what it was, but trip to the Alps. They ran over in the Alps, so that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gary, I have to ask you.
Go ahead.
One of the listeners was asking what you possibly think about for 529 miles.
Well, I'd have to think about that. That was a joke. Sorry. Well, it wasn't a good one, but I thought it was fun. Okay, yeah.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, I know. The fair, I can't say enough about it. It's a 1 mile loop, and it's got a lot of personality. And once you get going, there's so many things to see. Even though you've been around it 3,000 times or whatever, it still has a feeling about it. I think what happens is I end up being with a lot of different people, and we tell a lot of different stories and meet new people. And as far as just trying to stay focused and staying on the course for as many hours as I can, and starting at 4 a.m. and just trying to go till midnight at night or whatever, and trying to get to 50 miles in or 55 miles in or whatever I was trying for. It's a lot of focus. It's a lot of just thinking and listening to your feet hit, and I don't know. That's a good question. My mind is pretty simple sometimes. So
my first thought was what wouldn't you think about in 529 miles?
Yeah, the funny thing about running, it's one of those things where it's all about you at the time. You know what I mean? And you just try to stay in the game. You try to keep about where you are. If you're slowing down, if you're picking it up, you worry about the weather. That has a lot to do with it. And I don't know. It's a good question because it just goes, man. Like click, click, click. Maybe not that fast, but it just one lap just goes right from the other, right next to the other one, and before you know it, you're in 50, 60. Next thing you know, you're in the second day and you're 120 the third day. They just kind of click off. But your mind really does go out and in. And I really can't tell you what I think about. It's just probably just everyday stuff. Like, what are the working man doing? I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
what gets you through those mental walls or the physical walls?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of when I know now, I'm kind of visually doing what I want to do. I want to get set. I know what I want to do for each day. And the first day is kind of tough because you start about 9 o'clock and you get going, and there's always food there, which is good. And this year I plan on taking as much advantage of that as I can. I just want to keep those calories in and not get tired as early as I usually do. Um, but you're usually good for 10 hours anyway, and you really don't have any problem. And then once you get after that, it starts getting a little tougher. And then um, when you get into, like, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you're you're out there, and you don't know why you're out there. You're just out there, and you're hoping everybody else is sleeping, because you're thinking, I'm one more mile ahead of them or whatever. And a lot of times uh, they don't know I'm out there when I'm out there. I kind of
Yeah,
I say, hey, I'm going in, but I really don't go in. I kind of stay out there, so I kind of get some miles in.
that's funny.
I don't know. I got a bad reputation down there for not telling how many miles I have. They'll ask me, and I'll tell them 110. I got 115. It's just so I act like I don't know where I'm at, but I do know where I'm at. I just try to get some extra ones. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. You know.
Who keeps official track of it? How do you know where everybody's at?
Well, what's going to happen is you have a chip on your foot,
Oh, okay.
and as you're running across the transition between start and finish, there's a screen up there. And every time you run across it, it puts a mile up on there, and it tells you how many miles you're at. It tells you what your last one was. Plus, it tells you what your fastest time was on the lap. So a lot of times, if you're running close to somebody and you see them up there, you want to hang back, let them go across the start finish line, and then let them get by that what do I call it, that board there that tells everything about where they're at and what mile. And then you want to kind of sneak up there behind them, and you can see where you're at behind them or ahead of them or whatever, and keep track of them that way. If you're trying to beat the guy or just just messing around with them. So it's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
I
Neat.
I figured there was a bunch of strategy in this thing that we didn't hear about last time.
Well, there might be, but I don't use it. It's like, everything good. You got all these plans, just like any other race. You got all these plans, and you get to the start line, and it's just like the gun goes off, and you're just on a wing and a prayer, and you're just thinking, man, I hope I'm not going out too fast. I mean, we had one guy. He was going out. It was 144 hours, and this guy went out, and he was moving and moving, and I see he tired right out, and I just said, you know we still have like 120 hours left. Like, don't be in a hurry. It's about pacing. It really is. It really is. But I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's it's really a good race. It really. I wish more people would go down to it. I think there's people out there that they want to know what they can do, how many miles they can get. And if they wanted to do it like 100 miles just to run 100 miles, you could go down there and enter for 3 days. And that would give you 72 hours to run 100 miles. And you could do 33 a day or whatever. And you would get that buckle. And then you could wear that buckle around, and you're like a cowboy, with that big buckle.
Yeah, Wolfman, you can get that buckle.
It's pretty. Oh yeah, and it's like the more you go, the bigger the buckle gets. It's like I got like a 505 buckle, and it's as big as my head. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's wild.
I don't. Yeah, I think I think more people would go down there, but they're scared because they think they need a whole lot of miles, and they don't. They could just go down there. I wouldn't go to the 24-hour race because they're sprinting the whole way. They're running hard. The 48-hour, okay, you're running hard and you can make 48 hours and that. But if you went 72 hours, you'd have enough to enjoy the fair because you would have these highs and lows. You would have the bad weather, and then you'd be tired, you'd be drained, you would feel what the fair is giving out to you, and that's what you need to do when you go down there because it has a lot of feeling on that course, and sometimes it's so funny, and you're laughing over the stupidest stuff, Just somebody says, "Hey, I got a dog." Oh, wow, how about that? You think that's funny, It's just you just get into another world, and there's nothing really going on as far as news or anything like that. You just worry about the weather. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably so focused on what you're doing that just mentally it's completely different than your everyday.
Oh yeah, you don't even think about everyday situations. There was a time, I'm not good at this, and I hope nobody hears me say this, but I really didn't talk much at home. I just kind of went in, laid down, 20 minutes or 2 hours where I got up, went back out, and I really didn't communicate with my wife and kids. I just kind of was there for the fair. Running's really selfish, and it's just one of those things. And as time went on, for all these years now, this will be the 15th. I'm gonna message her. I'm gonna tell her, hey, I'm doing good, or what, or whatever, and just thank her for thinking of me. Let her know I'm thinking of her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think last time we asked you about your favorite accomplishment. What's been the, I don't know if the most disappointing is the right way to put it, but what's been the worst experience of all of it?
Mm, I don't know about the worst. I had a couple of bad ones. They're all memorable. They're all great at the time. You think, oh man, this is it. This is the best thing. Until something else comes along. But I can remember a 10K race out in Wellsboro. We ate at Potato City, and I had bacon and eggs, and I ran that race, and I didn't make it to the finish line without stopping and throwing up. That was a little rough there. That wasn't pretty. Uh, but I finished it. The Badger was tough. That was a bad one. Where I threw like a hissy fit to these guys that I was running with, and I said, "You got to go. I want you guys to finish. We didn't come all the way out here, you know." And I wasn't ready for that one, and I wish I would have been. And then they always come back to haunt you. There was a race, Run Rabbit Run, and that's out in Colorado. That was a 50 miler. I got that was pretty steep. That was a pretty big run, and I got out there and got off the trail a little bit, got back on, and uh, I didn't finish that one. I got halfway up to the top of the rabbit ears where the big rock is, and the guy was like, "Oh, you're the last one. Here, let me take your picture." I said, "I wish I would have bought one for you, but I don't." So he took my picture, and anyway, I started going back down, and this is kind of weird. I don't know. This is My wife was at the aid station, and I don't know how she got there. I mean, it was like a miracle because it never happened before. And there was a girl, two girls working the table, and she was there, and we were out in the middle of nowhere, and she happened to be there, and I just saw her, and I was when I came down off the hill, and the lady looked at her watch, and I was like right on the cusp, and she says, "You want to stay or you want to keep running?" And I said, "I'm dropping." I said, if I was behind, and I don't know if I could make the cutoffs the rest of the race. And the race was so beautiful as far as the trees and it's just great, great, great place. The views and the vistas. And I just knew I wasn't going to make it in time. If I did make it, it wasn't going to be fun. So I just said, "Hey, I better ride home." So, but that was really a blessing in disguise. It was unbelievable having her give me a ride. So that was a tough one too. But
Yeah, yeah, that's wild,
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, Colorado is a pretty cool place to run. It's pretty neat.
I've never ran. Well, no, I did run there, but not in the mountains. We hiked the mountains. I
Oh,
ran
okay.
on the roads, but it,
Okay.
it was it was something. Those
Yeah, it's
hikes.
neat. It's neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So is Maverick training for a half marathon? Is that what you guys are doing, or marathon? What's the scoop there, Maverick?
I'm training for a 10 miler
Oh, so you probably need like about 150 miles a week for that, or
at
what?
least.
That's pretty funny.
the,
Yeah.
the the weird thing about it is that I keep I keep thinking wrong about these races because when you transition from like a mile to 5 miles or even a mile to 5K, you go up in your mileage and you run a lot of speed work and you do all this different stuff. And these longer races, you just don't do that stuff. It's just different. So I keep
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh, if I ran, 50, 60, 70 mile weeks for 5 miles, I might as well double that up if I'm going to run a marathon, maybe triple that. And that's totally wrong, at
Well,
least for
what?
someone that's coming off of not running as much
Yeah.
in
Well,
recent
okay.
years.
Okay. So, well, how do I train if I'm doing 529 miles? I mean that
Yeah.
doesn't work out. You know what I mean? So
You
what do
run
I got?
every minute of every day.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying.
That
Uh,
boy really likes to run.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I know there's a line. 10 miler though. Is that in Philly or where?
That's going to be in down here, in the Wyoming Valley, like kind of by where we went to college.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
it's supposed to be flat,
Oh, really?
which I don't like.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Well,
Yeah,
this is
that's good.
Pennsylvania. Nothing's flat.
That's
I don't
right.
like flat, but it's
Yeah.
supposedly flat.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, is that coming up like a couple months then, or what?
That's supposed to be. I think it's September. We're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is
Okay.
September.
Okay.
Early September, I think. Does that sound
I
right?
believe so. I hear
Okay.
a lot of great things about it, but once again, the whole flat part worries me because I'm not a flat runner unless it's on a
Mm-hmm. Okay.
track.
Well, you know what? If it's in your hometown, you can always run the course. Just get used to that, and
Yeah.
visualization. It's pretty cool.
It's supposed to go through a lot of towns, so I I'd rather not run it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can
I'm
understand
kind of
that too.
I'm thinking I'm going to train immensely on tougher terrain and then go into it that way. So it'll be
Okay.
an easy
Hmm.
transition to a flat run. And I'm hoping that Wolfman will kind of have some laughs with me so I don't have a boring time.
Yeah. So
We'll
you're
have
going
some
down
fun.
too. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the
Well, that's
plan.
yeah. I mean, I would go in like in a casual, kind of frame of mind, and then if things are going good, then start picking it up. So it's a
Yeah,
lot easier that way than going the opposite way.
yeah,
And I have to
yeah.
tell this funny story. I went to buy some stuff that I had to pick up, some errand purchases. And I just took a quick peek at this, the stores what they had kind of for running shoes. I was just thinking like, hey, maybe I'll find some kind of kick around shoe that I could wear on the treadmill or whatever, right? Well,
Hmm.
I found a pair of super shoes.
Oh yeah,
And they were like
Yeah.
$40. I was like, I cannot pass these up for $40. I got to
Oh,
get these suckers and try them. And I don't think they even knew what they had. So I bought these things, brought them home, tried them out, and I was like, these are the weirdest thing ever. They're so cushiony,
they are.
hmm.
stringy, and I was like, these shoes are weird. And but running on the road they make sense. Running off the road they make no sense whatsoever. Like I
Okay.
ran through some grass and I'm like, I can barely run. I almost twisted my ankle.
Okay. And wow. Wow.
You ever
So
you ever try any
you're
of them on, Gary?
no, no. I mean, I have some. I have some Hokas, and they kind of roll. You kind of get used to that. Took me a while to get used to 'em, and then by the time I got used to them, I got a different pair. I got Brooks. I kind of like um, I like the 8 millimeter, somewhere around in there toe
Yeah,
drop. I'm just comfortable with that. I'd like to go down to a 4, but it's just I just can't seem to find just the right one. I thought about some different ones, but I just always go back to Brooks. Brooks, Sauconys, whatever, and that's what I just have regular feet, I guess. But I wear wide. And I wear them big too. So I don't like my toes hitting
Yeah.
anywhere in the shoe. And I have a tendency. I used to wear 11s for a while, and then I went drop down to 10.5 wide, and that seems to be okay. And then, like I said, when I'm at the fair, I use the ones with the toes cut out, and that way I don't have any friction problems or anything like that. I used to tape my feet a lot for those long runs, like moleskin on the bottoms of my feet. And I think this year, I think I'm just going to go in and not tape anything, and just wait till something happens. And when it happens, take care of it then. I do this pre-taping, and I'm not sure if that causes more problems than what it's worth. I used to tape my
Right.
baby toe all the way around my baby toe. Well, then my baby toe would swell up and the toenail would come off, and I thought, well, that's because it doesn't have any room. It's suffocated by that Band-Aid. So
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I quit doing that. That saves on toenails. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does one pair of shoe you just last you one event then, Gary?
no. When I go down to the fair, I probably have about 7 pair with me. Uh,
Wow.
oh, that don't mean I
Wow.
wear them. That don't
All the
mean I
same.
wear.
Can you talk to my wife about that? She gets upset that I've got like 3, 4 pair.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have
Yeah,
that many.
I've got like 7 pairs of running shoes at least, but I don't wear all of them because some of them are
Right.
just terrible.
Okay. Well, a lot
I
of times
buy them and then I go, these are terrible. I'm just gonna walk around in these.
Okay. Well, a lot of times, they turn into casual ones, or mow a lawn or whatever. But I don't
Right.
know. It was funny because my mom would always say, "How come you got so many shoes?" And I thought, well, because I want different ones. Some for trail, some for this. So my mom, she was 84, and she started getting into this. She started walking down the inner driveway and back, and then she started walking around the block, and then she was talking about her shins hurt. And then I'm thinking, well, you're putting too many miles on, Ma. Well, anyway, so she ended up doing a couple of 5Ks, and that was pretty cool. But after a while, she had 3 pairs of shoes, so she knew, you gotta have them. You just one's not enough. you know.
You
So
can't pass it up.
yeah. So
That's
anyway, yeah. Yeah, 84 years old, doing 5Ks. That's pretty wild.
and she
Pretty
was
wild.
new to it. Hadn't done it
Yeah,
before. That's awesome.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
So let's talk about blisters. How do you guys handle them?
Don't get them.
Knock on wood.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
get too many in the 5 fingers.
Do you? Okay.
No, I did after Disney, and I think it was because of the rain. Like it downpoured during the marathon for about 3 hours or so, or not 3 hours, 3 miles, and it was out of nowhere. Like the rain was supposed to all be the day before. It wasn't even on the radar, and then all of a sudden, boom, three
Florida.
miles of just hard rain. And I think that's what really did it. I think if it didn't do that, I wouldn't have had a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I typically have not had any problems since I went to the 5 finger shoes.
Are you wearing
Yeah.
socks? You wearing socks with them? PJ
Uh,
socks or no?
I do in the trail ones that I wear during the winter time.
Okay.
I size
Okay.
them up one, and I wear
Okay.
toe socks in them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty particular about what kind of sock I'm wearing, how high up it goes, what kind of shoe I'm wearing, how tight it is. Yeah, I kind of can feel when it's just right, and then I'm not going to get any problems. And then I'll adjust it if I need to. And
Okay.
and that's kind of something that I learned quick with all sports. Like I was always particular about how tight my spike was, my shoe. I always
Mm-hmm.
found that if you did that right, you're less likely to strain something, to get a blister, and get any kind of problems with it. So I was always very particular about that. And if you wore the
Mm-hmm.
wrong sock in cross country, for example, you would have friction by the end, and you would have a blister going.
Yeah.
Heel on the bottom of your foot, where the balls of your foot are. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely some spots where you would be more likely to get that.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was very important to wear the right sock, have it on the right way. And then like when I ran steeple, we didn't wear socks. We just had spikes with nothing, and they would drain the water out. And if you wore the wrong thing for that, once again, that could be problematic as well. So you wanted to have a steeple spike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what socks are you wearing when you're doing a 10 mile? Or what will you wear there? What brand?
So I'll wear whatever I've trialed that works. So
Okay.
in the past I used to get like like the biking socks where they would come up a little higher on
Right.
your
Yeah.
ankle and they'd be real kind of tight, almost
Yeah.
like a compression. I would wear those for cross country, but I don't think I'm going to do that for the 10 mile. I think I'm going to stick with something else, like maybe like
Okay.
something that's a little bit more breathable and
Hmm.
definitely something that goes over where the shoe stops because I hate when the sock is just below it and then you get that friction on the back of your Achilles tendon
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
causes a blister. So
Yeah.
that I definitely don't want to experience.
Right.
So yeah, something that goes just over the top, maybe even a little bit higher, nothing that's too
Yeah.
tight, possibly something that's more cotton based, just so that I can, kind of work through. 'Cause it's probably gonna be hot for that 10 miler.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
hope
what I'm
so.
thinking. But
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna do the biking sock because I think it's gonna have too much movement, particularly, where that like where they sew it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little extra piece of material there, and that's gonna bother me over 10 miles. 5 miles I could deal
Hmm.
with, but 10's gonna be a bit much.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes I'll double my socks up
Yeah.
just because if I get hot spots, and next thing you know, it's like, man, where'd that come from? So I'll put another sock on. I used to wear right socks, and they were doubled. They came
Yep.
doubled, and they were nice. They were good. They were pretty breathable.
They're hot though.
Yeah, and then I started going to smart wool, and that I don't know. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. It's funny how it works one day, but yet it won't work the next.
Right.
It's the humidity or whatever it is, or what you're running through, and
Yeah.
and it's socks are tough. Every heel deserves a good sock, but
Yeah.
mine just you know
I
that's
got
a
I got a
that's a joke too. Every heel deserves a good sock. Okay.
That is funny.
Oh,
I
that comes
tell you
from.
what though, for a while I wore minimal shoes that were made by New Balance, so they were more like a traditional shoe with a toe box. And I still wore it's like an Inji or something like
Mhm,
that
yeah,
with the
yeah.
sock. And even in those socks I would never get blisters.
Hmm,
So I
yeah.
think part of that once again is the getting the right shoe and getting the shoe to fit you properly, and then lacing it up right.
Mhm, yeah.
It was always key. I always found that like when someone would switch shoes and they didn't know what to do with it, that's when they'd
Mm,
get that bad blister. We actually had a teammate that almost
Yeah.
had of an amputation because of it. Because it
Yeah,
got
he
infected.
was like borderline septic. If he wasn't
was
septic, it was
was
bad.
he are they just wearing them too tight, or are they just
I
you
forget
know
what happened, but he had
He
a
had
wicked
he had
blister and
oh, okay,
it
yeah,
got bad.
he didn't do good proper care of it. So if you
okay,
don't do proper care, your possibility of getting an infected wound
right.
is
Yeah.
what you're looking at, and then, like Wolfman said, resulting in a bunch of different problems. And obviously, in this case, it was possible amputation because he was getting to be gangrenous, basically,
Wow,
where
Yeah.
man.
they were worried
Wow.
about that. So, like I said, you have to take care of it if you're doing what we were doing, very competitive running constantly. Um, if you're just training, basic, then you keep an eye on it. Usually it doesn't get that bad,
Yeah.
but he was
Mhm.
just putting a piece of duct tape on it, which I wouldn't recommend.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, at that level too, we would push through a lot of stuff that you probably shouldn't push through. So
Mhm.
I just remember we got back from a run and he did not look good and he's like, I don't think I can go to breakfast. And we are like, I think you should go to the hospital.
There you
Yeah.
go.
You
Yeah.
look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He came out, it looked like he had the flu, but
Yeah.
also had some other illness going on. It was pretty bad. He was
Wow.
shaking and just looked like he looked completely different than he did about a half hour before that.
Hmm.
Wow. Caught up to him. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah. At Jimmy's schools, he used to do the steeple.
Oh yeah, I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Oh yeah, you want to talk to him about that? Yeah.
I
Yeah. He's
should.
yeah,
I
he did
should.
the steeple. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't know.
Steeple's a great race. Great race.
Yeah.
It's fun,
Sound like
yeah.
you really liked it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You ever
it
do
was
it, Gary?
a good time.
No, I couldn't get over a regular hurdle, let alone trying to run and jump over it. Holy smokes! I don't know. I'd be the ones that just run right through them. Don't even try
Yeah.
to jump them. Yeah. I
Roll
I
under
went
it.
out. Yeah, I went out for track. Man, seventh and eighth grade, way back when. Seventh, eighth, and ninth, I guess. And if it's funny, it's weird because when we ran track back then, they went by pound classes, by weight classes.
Oh
So
really?
it was like 75, 85, 95, 110. And that, and eighth, ninth grade, you really don't get super big guys, but it was good competition. And of course, you ran against guys your own size, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty neat. So we ended up going to the Ardmore relays, and we did pretty well at the Ardmore relays. That was pretty cool. We ran the 4 by
Where's
800 and Ardmore relays.
yeah?
That's down near Philadelphia.
Oh
Yeah.
okay.
So that was pretty cool. That was who knows, that was a while ago. It was
It was like 10 years ago.
yeah. I'm trying to think. It was probably I don't know, 1969. I don't know, 68, 69, something. Yeah, somewhere around in there. It was pretty cool. We had a good time. It was neat. We had to lie about our time because we didn't know. We never ran the 4 by 8. And the guy says, "Hey, you're going to run this," and it's like, just stay behind the guy. Don't let him get any more ahead of you. Just stay behind him, and I can run on a cinder track. And I'm thinking, I could pass this guy, but he didn't tell me to do that, so I'm going to stay right here. And we had an anchor, and this anchor guy, I knew he was just going to blow anybody away. So I knew if I just stayed right where I was, it was good. It was good enough. So
Sure.
it was cool. Yeah.
It's always nice to have a good anchor like that.
Oh, this guy was really good. Didn't say much, but he could move. It was fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of relays that I was on, even in the sprint relays, that we always had a real good anchor that we knew would bring it home because he was they were always had like the best guy, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
problem was that sometimes we wouldn't have the best middle.
Okay. Okay.
Get a good start,
Yeah.
crappy middle, and then a hammer at the end that can close it, but that doesn't always work out.
Yeah. 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 I was in the middle. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. 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 I'm just glad I made the heights requirement, back then. So it was pretty good. They didn't have a heights requirement. That was another joke. Sorry.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the times and the way they did things did change quite a bit. I mean, even now, like there's different divisions with other sports as well, like
Mm.
where there's more than one state champion. I always found that to be interesting because you have all these different levels based on how big your school is.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm always more
Yeah.
for I
That's
want
true.
one state champion. That's it.
Right. Line them
I
up.
want the
Line them
fastest
up,
person
and
to be state
yeah.
champion, nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. 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 I wonder. Like, I don't know what the times are for the 800, or we used to call it the 880. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's changed much since I was in school. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if is it under 154 for high
I
school or anything?
I don't know about winning
What
times
is?
or anything like that, but I think to qualify for double A for state, it's a 159.
Yeah, the state
Okay.
qualifying time's always like just under 2.
Yeah.
But then I remember like
Okay.
my cousin was state champ in the 8, and I think he was like a 154, 153, something like that.
Okay.
But he had
Okay.
to run it a bunch of times. Like he didn't
Yeah.
just run it once. Like there were so many back in those days. There were so many prelims that
Yeah.
you had to keep running and running. And then he was in other events too. So he
Yeah,
he was running like a
Okay.
maniac.
you have to run it
Yeah.
or place at districts, I think. Even if you ran it every meet, I'm pretty sure if you didn't, I could be
Okay.
completely wrong on this, but I think
Yeah.
even if you ran that time all year, if you don't run it or place well enough at the district meet, too bad you're not going to states. I think I might be wrong on
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
at least that's how it used to be. I'm not sure if they changed that, but yeah, you used to have to run it at districts in order to qualify. So if you had the flu and you didn't run well, then tough luck.
Too bad,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
But you had
cross
the
country's
flu
the same
and
way,
won.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh no, it happened again. No, I don't know.
Oh no. No. Yeah. Um, anyway, you're gonna ask me about fatigue, and
Yeah,
that is a
the
tough one. I mean, did it hit you?
like like the wall, the quit zone. Yeah.
Yeah, just like
So usually I feel it hits at a different point no matter the race I'm in. Like
yeah.
when I ran Pittsburgh with my brother, um, I hit the wall at about mile 8, which is pretty early to hit the wall, but I was very poorly prepared.
Right.
Um, and then I just had fun with it at that point. Like I have fun
Mhm.
with it anyway, but I just made it more of a point to like interact with the crowd and things like that. That's the nice
Yeah.
thing about those big city races. There's people
Oh,
the whole way.
oh yeah. Yeah.
At
Slap a lot of
Disney,
hands.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Kids get a kick out of it as you're high fiving them and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, at Disney, I was tired from the start, which was a new experience. I hit the mental wall probably at about mile 20 or so. I hit the physical wall much earlier than that. But I knew when I hit the mental wall that if I could make it back into the parks, because we weren't that far from entering the parks again for the last like 3 miles, that if I
Hmm.
could get back there, again, there'd be a crowd
Oh
and I
yeah.
could just use that energy
You,
to. Is there anywhere people can reach out to find you if they would like to reach out to you
Oh
or
yeah. Well, I have an email address. You know.
okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I can give you that, or unless you probably already have that.
We really appreciate you coming on, Gary, and sharing your stories. And we'd
Uh,
love to have you on after your next big adventure if you're willing.
oof.
Um,
Oh, I'll be
and
glad to. That's been on my mind for the last 11 months, man. It just it's I got to do it. You know, it's going to hurt, but I got to do it. It means a lot. It's 321 miles. I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be great to do more. You know, but that's what
yeah,
I'm shooting for, and that's the middle of May. So that's what I'm shooting for right now. So
good. Well, we wish you luck.
yeah, I stopped down. You know,
Gary,
just
I would also love to see in a year what your
what my what?
mileage is you personally compared to your vehicle.
Oh, yeah. I've had some good years, but lately like I said, I don't, I don't do a lot per week. I just, just somebody says, hey, you want to do a 30 mile? We do a 30 miles. So, we do a birthday run. We do, actually, at the end of the year, we go down in Jersey and down there in Poconos, excuse me. And we just do a long run down there. And it's just, they're kind of nice. They're relaxing. You got a lot to talk about, and it's just junk miles, though. It's not training. It's just you know, but never say no. You just
Yeah,
'cause they're cool. They're cool. It's neat to be out there on the road and like that one down there in Tennessee. You don't know where you're going. You're just out there, and if something gets hurt, you got to put up with it. You can't stop because if you call the girl to pick you up, what she's going to do, she's going to take 4 to 5 to 6 hours to get to you, at least, because she's traveling the whole course. And what she wants you to do is she wants you to rethink this and say, you know what, maybe I'm not hurting that bad. Maybe I just need a little bit more food, or maybe I just need a rest. And so she doesn't want to show up, and then you keep moving, and that's her job to get you to the finish line. Whatever it takes. So it's pretty
wow,
cool. So the long stuff's pretty cool. You know,
that is cool.
but I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I
Oh
enjoyed it
yeah,
very
it's
much.
been a
Brought back a
blast.
lot of memories. Yeah,
It's
thank
been
you.
fun. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
see you again.
All right.
See you again.
Thanks, Gary.
But
Bye
we will definitely have you on again. Thanks so much.
bye.
All
Okay,
right.
sounds good. Thank you. Thank you very much.